Everyone, my name is Zryan Shamo, and I will be presenting on the Yazidi minority in Iraq. Yep. I would first like to mention that I'm honored to speak at this event, and I would like to thank everyone, including Congressman Gus Bilirakis, for organizing this hearing. I'm a member of the Yazidi religion. I was born in Kurdistan, and I lived there up to the age of 6. My family and I moved to the United States in 1998. Since then, I have visited Kurdistan twice, during the summers of 2001 and 2006. A brief background of the Yazidi religion. The Yazidi religion is considered to be one of the oldest religions in the Middle East. We are primarily ethnic Kurds. We live in small villages throughout Kurdistan and share some villages with Muslims and Christians. Our temple is called Lalish, and it's located in Kurdistan. Our religious practices are in the Kurdish language. The population of the Yazidis is around 1 million worldwide, with more than 2/3 living in Iraqi Kurdistan. They make up a 2.5% of the Iraqi population, 10 to 15% of the Kurdish population in Iraq, and 20 to 25% of the Mosul province. They live in towns such as Shingar, Bashika, Talkaf, and Sheikhan, and Duhok and Mosul of northern Iraq. There are around 70,000 that live in Western Europe, mostly in Germany. There are more than 500 Yazidis that currently live in the USA. Yazidis also live in Turkey, Syria, Armenia, and Georgia. Now I will speak about some of the Yazidi beliefs. The Yazidi people believe in one God and also have 7 angels. Others misidentify the Yazidis as devil worshippers. This is one of the main reasons why the Yazidis have been discriminated against and targeted by other groups. The Yazidi religion is a non-missionary religion. There have always been attacks on the Yazidis because of religious differences and misconceptions that they have always faced. This has dramatically decreased their population. During Saddam's regime, Yazidis suffered from discrimination policies because they are Kurdish and non-Muslims. From 1975 to 1988, more than 158 Yazidi villages were destroyed in Sheikhan, Shingar, and Duhok. The Yazidis were victims of Arabization in the 1960s and genocide in the 1980s. In Turkey and Syria, the Yazidis are subject to racism and they are denied their basic rights. Yazidi children are forced to study the Quran and practice Islam in Syrian schools. Just like any other minority in Iraq, the Yazidis expected to be a protected minority in the new Iraq after the collapse of Saddam's regime. In the Mosul province, most Yazidis were forced to leave the city under the threat of extremist fundamentalists. The attacks against the Yazidis were perpetrated by radical Islamic groups such as Al-Qaeda and other Wahhabistic groups in Mosul, such as the Iraqi Islamic State, Jund al-Islam, and others. There have been countless attacks on the Yazidis in history. I have 3 examples of recent attacks. On August 8, 2007, 4 suicide truck bombers struck nearly simultaneously in Shingar, killing more than 400 people and wounding more than 400 people in 2 Yazidi villages in northern Iraq. Most of the victims were women and children. The explosions destroyed more than 100 houses completely. I would also like to add that this attack is the 2nd biggest terrorist attack after the events of 9/11 in the world. On February 15, 2007, mass fundamentalists and terrorists, mostly Kurdish Islamists, attacked Yazidis in the town of Sheikhan in northern Iraq, mostly populated by Yazidis. They burned down a few Yazidi holy places and they set fire to many shops, cars, and houses. On April 23, 2007, armed men in several cars stopped a bus that was carrying workers from the Mosul textile factory to their hometown of Bashika, which had a mix of Christians, Yazidis, and Muslims. The gunmen checked passengers' identification and then asked all Christians and Muslims to get off the bus. They hijacked the bus with all the Yazidis still inside, and they drove them to eastern Mosul, where they were lined up and shot to death. Some steps to secure minorities. Although the security of the Yazidis is not perfect, withdrawing American troops would worsen the situation, especially in the Mosul province. One solution that is being considered by some American officials is to provide security to the Christians in North Mosul. They should know the fact that the Yazidis also need the security due to similar threats they both face. Providing security will also help in stopping the wave of minority migration to Europe. There should be more pressure on Iraqi and Kurdish leaders to respect minority rights. The Iraqi constitution has ignored Yazidis by ensuring them only 1 seat in the parliament, while the minority quota ensures 5 seats for the Christians. The fact is that the Yazidi population is larger than the Christian population, yet the Christians have 5 seats. Due to this, Yazidis feel as if they are neglected by the American influence in the Iraqi system. Unfortunately, this is the same in the Kurdistani parliament. The Yazidis have 1 seat while the Christians have 5. The Yazidis are excluded from the Iraqi government positions as well. Holding an international conference on protecting minority rights in Iraq with American and European support will educate the Iraqi people about rights of minorities and culture of tolerance. We, the Yazidis, as a non-Muslim religious minority, still face a great threat from the Muslim extremists. We need help from the United States and other democratic nations. In addition, services such as hospitals, schools, and transportation are not sufficient enough to meet basic human requirements. Our towns and villages are ignored by the Iraqi central government and the Kurdistan regional government because these areas are being disputed over by both sides. Thank you very much.